Welcome to Black Belt Banter, the best podcast to help martial arts school owners increase profit and generate substantial revenue. I'm your host, Jimmy Hong. Today's episode is a special one. We're bringing you a session recorded live at the ASA Martial Arts Summit in Las Vegas. And if you weren't there, consider this your front row seat. Our guest is Mr. Josh Lannon, one of our distinguished speakers at the summit, and what he shared in that room stopped people in their tracks. The topic, AI marketing, and more specifically, how martial arts school owners can harness the power of artificial intelligence to reach more families, generate more leads, and grow their schools with real impact. This isn't theory, this is where industry is heading, and the owners who figure it out early are going to have a serious edge. So grab a pen, take notes, and get ready to explore the future of martial arts marketing. This is Mr. Josh Lannon, recorded live at the ASA Summit in Las Vegas, only on Black Belt Banter.
All good? All right. Perfect. I feel like a game show host now. I like this better. So this is a little bit of a broad, not necessarily an absolute, but what I've heard from business owners, local service business owners, things like that, is that most Taekwondo schools don't have a student problem per se. That's more of a time problem. It's more that there's not enough time to follow up with everybody right away. There's not enough time to create all the ads that you want or all the content that you want, and to get in touch with leads or opportunities or build awareness in a way that's functional for your ability to enroll the amount of people you guys want to enroll. And so with that being the problem, noise both on the parents or the student on the one side and the noise for the school owners and the team on the inside, there's just a lot of stuff going on. So how can we leverage AI to scale your time? And they gave me the explode your enrollment. That was a little bit of clickbait. I love that title that they gave me, but explode the enrollment without working more hours or without hoisting more hours onto your team. Really quickly, for those of you that didn't hear me speak last time, this is just why I'm up here talking to you guys about AI. Again, my name is Josh Lannon. I love all things marketing and AI. I've been in marketing for about 15 years now. It says 14, but I'm almost on that 15-year anniversary. About 3 years ago, I got really into AI. I attended some classes at MIT, specific about how AI can help you grow your business. And I also bought an AI company called Rightly, and we converted it into what we now call Precog One. And we have a community of people that use that software to help write ads and things like that. Enough about me. Let's talk about how we can help you guys. One of my recent, this quote, I always try to start with a quote. And this one I thought was really apropos for what we're talking about today. AI is not here to replace our team, but to amplify what makes us exceptional. It keeps us thinking bigger, move faster, serve smarter without losing the human touch. I think that last piece, without losing the human touch, is really important. In a world of AI, everything can start to sound like ChatGPT. And I think that we need to use AI to leverage that 80% of the middle. We give it the first 10%. AI does that middle 80%, and then we clean it up and add that human touch, that last 10%. So consider that with everything that we're talking about today. The AI advantage, the idea is that AI is not going to replace you as the founder or the leader of the school, but it's going to duplicate your ability to create better ideas, systems, conversations, contact people quicker, consistently, all those things we talked about just a minute ago. So we've identified 3 different levers that swing the big doors that allow you to get more enrollment, or equally important, retain the students you guys currently have and keep them happy. And to, if a lot of your students are children, keep their parents happy, right? So let's get into lever number 1. We're going to talk, and again, this is going to be specific to the least amount of tools that you guys, I think I over inundated you guys with tools last year. So this year, we're going to try to keep it really, really tight. My favorite LLM, there's a lot of them out there. My favorite right now is ChatGPT. Claude is fantastic. There's 2 or 3 other ones that are really good. We're going to be talking about using prompts. And the idea behind these prompts is these aren't necessarily your prompts. These are the prompts that get you in ChatGPT working. And we're going to talk about how you can communicate and collaborate with ChatGPT in a way that helps you grow your school. 3 of the prompts that I did identify for today was specific to getting more leads or awareness is an equal important part of just people knowing you're out there, people knowing that you're an option for their kids, for them to learn Taekwondo. Number 1, write 3 Facebook ad headliners for parents who want more confidence and want to instill more confidence and discipline for their kids. Number 2, create a 7-day social media calendar with posts that mix success stories, behind the scenes clips, and special offers. Number 3, write a Google business post promoting our 2 weeks for $29 trial. Google business is really important because of the way it leverages search. And some other time I'll give you guys a talk about leveraging Google Business, but it's an interesting one, and ChatGPT will tell you how to do that inside of, or one of your team members, how to do that inside of Google My Business as well. So what we have here is at the top, I chose the 3 variations of a Facebook headline for a Taekwondo school that appeals to parents of kids ages 6 to 12, focus on discipline, confidence, and fitness. And it wrote, yeah, that's really hard to read. It wrote 3. Variation 1 was discipline focus. It says, transform screen time into focus time. Taekwondo builds discipline that lasts. Variation 2, focus on confidence. Watch your child step onto the mat and step into confidence. And variation 3 focuses on fitness and all-around benefits. It says stronger bodies, sharper minds, more confident kids. That's Taekwondo. So then what I did, because it's a collaboration, because this isn't a software where you input certain things and it just gives you a single output, but you can communicate with it and iterate and build and build. I said, great, create a Facebook ad image variation for variation 1. I chose variation 1. That's the one I'm going to start to build on. And it created this version of it, transform screen time into focus time. Taekwondo builds discipline that lasts. And this is where this might not be, and probably won't be, your actual Facebook ad or your actual Facebook or Instagram post or something. But what it will be is that first iteration where you can now talk with it and say, actually, can you use my brand colors here? Actually, can you make it a boy and a girl? Can you make it a boy and a girl, but a little bit older? Can you put my logo at the top or whatever it might be? And it starts to spit these out. Now, we as a marketing agency use these for ideation. And then I still have people on my team, because I'm a marketing agency that does graphic design, and they take those and kind of run with my concepts. But as a leader, I get to build out those concepts. A lot of local businesses would just use something similar to this with good copy and be able to make it work too. So again, don't feel like you need that team. You could work with just ChatGPT, good content. And then you can build upon that. You could also say, perfect, now can you write a long form first person ad to go on Facebook and Instagram or something like that? Very cool, the way that you build it out. And in a moment, I'm going to show you the way that you can kind of feed it your information about your school in a way that gives it more context. So I'm not going to go into depth about some of the tools we use, but I will mention them. And like I said, I don't know if everybody heard me at the beginning, but if you email me, I will send you guys all the slides and links to all these tools. Canva Magic Studio. Does anybody use Canva at all to build out? So yeah, it's the go-to, easiest by far, has the best AI for what it does. So Canva is the one that we plug into a lot. ChatGPT is what we use for the copy. We also use ChatGPT for images as well too, though, as you saw. And then, has anybody played around with VO3? I was talking to Tony about this the other day. VO3 is the kind of creepy, deep fake Google video creation thing where it just creates videos, whatever you want. You could create famous people arguing about pizza or something like that, and it would actually create that video for you. So, and it looks like the famous people that you're talking about. So it's one of those, you can't believe your eyes anymore type of thing, which has been kind of that way for a bit with AI. All right, moving on. Key takeaway here is you can create 10x more content in a tenth of the time. If you're building more consistent content, you're more visible locally, and you're getting more leads and more awareness, like I said. All right, lever 2, automate human sounding communication that follows up fast. 2 parts of this that are important is human sounding and follow up fast. I can't tell you as a business owner, especially early on when I was really bootstrapping, how many leads died on the line. And so how can we leverage the least amount of tools to get the most kind of juice from the squeeze here? And so what we do, talk about some of these prompts here. Write a 5 text sequence for a parent who filled out the trial form but hasn't booked their first visit yet. Second, draft a friendly message reminding a parent about tomorrow's class trial. Third, create a chat response, how much our class is, and focus on value and encourages a visit. Now, a lot of this, you could say, I own a Taekwondo studio in Denver, Colorado, and here's the text, here's the prompt. But I have this little trick, and I think I talked about this last year when I spoke with you guys, but I always use Master Chan's school as my example. And so what I did is I just put in, this is kind of priming the prompt is what I call it. I say, do you know jkleeblackbelt.com? And it comes back and it says, yeah, JK Lee Black Belt, martial arts school based in Milwaukee. And then it gives kind of a report on what it is. I don't know if you guys could read that very well either, but again, it just basically tells me yes. And what it's doing is it's crawling the entire website. It's also potentially depending on which type of ChatGPT it's decided to use. It might, if it's doing 5, it might be doing some more deep research and checking out like Google reviews and other things. But it understands now the context of J.K. Lee Black Belt Academy. Now you guys could upload a bunch of your mission statements and a bunch of other data in here, and it would give even more context. But this is a great way to kind of shortcut that. And then it says, perfect. Here's a 5-text follow-up. And text number 1, 15 minutes after form submission, hi parent name. This is instructor name from J.K. Lee. We just saw you grab a spot on our child's free trial. Just reply yes, and I'll help you pick a time that works best. The good thing about this is it just immediately starts that two-way conversation. It sounds like a person. It's personalized for their name and their child's name because that was part of the form intake. And now it's just low friction. It's immediate. Oftentimes with this, they'll be like, wow, you guys are fast. I just filled that out or something like that. They're impressed, right? And they think it's an actual person reaching back out to them. Then step 2, hi parent name. Just want to let you know, most parents say they notice a big boost in their child's focus and confidence after only a couple classes. We'd love to show you how. This one builds emotional value and also gives a simple like either or. You basically are saying, would you like to schedule something for tomorrow or Monday? Or you're just kind of giving them a specific kind of 2 option. So here's text 3, 4, and 5. Hey parent, it's instructor name again. We're holding on to just a few beginner spots this week for students. After that, classes fill up fast. Want me to save one for insert child's name? It's just some urgency, fear of missing out, that type of stuff. We're trying to show them that they have to take action quickly. And then number 4 is 4 days later. Totally understand things get busy. I'd be happy to personally help you find the perfect class for child's name. Here's a quick booking link, or just reply with your best day or time and I'll do the rest. It makes it just seamless and effortless for them. They can just reply back, yeah, sorry, can you please help me set something up for next week? And then last, just checking in one last time, would you like to come in for a free trial class for child's name? We'd love to meet your family and see if J.K. Lee is right for you. But reply yes, and I'll hold on to a spot for you. It's that last, like these people had good intentions. They'll typically get response on the first one and the last one. But sometimes, again, some of those kind of fear of missing out, urgency ones get you a response. All right. So the tools we use for this, Go High Level is kind of my hands down, all-in-one marketing kind of application. Again, the price is pretty good and it sort of does everything. There's not much that we're going to talk about today that Go High Level couldn't help with. And I'm not an affiliate or anything for Go High Level. It's just what we use for everything. And then ManyChat and Tidio. ManyChat's what we use for Facebook follow-up. You can build out some really interesting things. It has good AI engine, things like that. So those are the 2 that I'd recommend. AI lets you follow up instantly and consistently. So fewer leads slip through the cracks, your enrollment percentages go up, and people that are working with you feel like they're getting quick responses so that you guys really care. All right, lever 3, we're halfway through. We're going to use AI to run a more efficient studio. This goes down to operations. Like, how do operations really affect your ability to enroll more? So the prompts are write a step-by-step checklist for how new students are onboarded. I'm sure you guys already have student onboarding and all this other thing, but using AI can find some gaps, or you can say, I want to make it more efficient, or I want to hand it off and use this type of software to do this, or whatever it might be. And so you can actually find some gaps and blind spots when you have AI do something like this. Second, create an SOP for handling birthday party leads from Facebook, very specific and kind of niche down. And third, write a staff training quiz on how to greet new parents and handle objections, some internal training stuff just to kind of keep everybody tight. Now, this is really hard to read, but I chose the new student onboarding checklist, and I'm going to just go through like the high level kind of headlines here. Step 1, welcome and confirmation. The goal is to make first impression and confirm new student start date. And then there's a bunch of just different checklist pieces. Step 2 is pre-class preparation, reduce anxiety and set clear expectations. 4 steps there. Step 3, first class experience. You want to deliver an amazing first impression and make a connection with the student. Step 4, post-class follow-up, reinforce excitement and move forward with enrollment. Step 5, create sense of belonging and commitment. Step 6 is a 30-day check-in just to see how everything's going, ensure satisfaction, things like that. And so again, the actual steps aren't what's important. It's that you start to work within the system to build out a better process. And again, it's a communication. It's not just I take what it gives me and I run with it. I talk to it and we iterate together, we collaborate. Tools we've used for this, they didn't put this up here, but for a long time, we just used Google Docs for this type of stuff and it worked great. Notion is a little bit more kind of high level collaborative piece, but although Google Docs is getting better at that. Go high level. Again, they're my favorite and they work really well. Otter AI is good for turning recordings of somebody teaching something into SOPs. So something to consider there. You can also just do that with ChatGPT though. Yeah, well, actually, that's not true. You can take a transcript and do that with ChatGPT, but not the actual video. Key takeaway, and again, operations usually isn't about, oh, wow, I'm going to blow up the enrollment at my school because of operations, but because if you have better systems and you're making fewer mistakes in the process of operating the business, you have more focus on teaching and growing. And so if you can clean up the back end a little bit, it makes the front end work a lot better. All right, last but not least, use AI to keep more students. I think this is maybe not for you guys, but for a lot of businesses I work with, this is the one that people miss out on the most. How do we retain more students using AI in a way that makes sure that you're not only just losing students, but you're keeping students that you have, you're keeping them happy. They're giving you referrals. Their siblings are going to join up once they get a little bit older. So let's jump into this one really quick. I'm going to get into some cool tools here at the end too, based on some time. We'll see how we're doing on time. And then based on that, we'll see if we can get into a couple of just cool tools. But based on these 3 prompts, number 1, write a personalized progress email for a student who just earned their yellow belt, very specific. Prompt number 2, create a 5-question parent survey to find out why families stay or quit. And prompt number 3, write a thank you message after an event with a reminder to book next week classes. I chose number 2 because I think that one's really important. So I said, create a 5-question parent survey to find out why families stay or quit. Really straightforward. Again, I could still have this in the same discussion form that I'm doing that I prompted with that J.K. Lee prompt. And so it's pulling up J.K. Lee feedback survey. And again, I'll just walk you through this really quickly and why I think this is important. Question 1's about motivation. What originally motivated you to enroll your child at J.K. Lee Black Belt Academy? And there's several different ideas there. The insight reveals a core reason families joined. It also helps you tailor a specific message. For example, if they joined for improving focus and discipline, you can keep that in your CRM and you can actually speak to that when you follow up with them. If it's more about physical fitness and you see a lot of those coming through, you can speak to that. So it helps with your specific student, but it also helps with messaging in the future. Number 2, experiences. How would you describe your child's overall experience so far? Excellent, good, okay, not great. Again, it just gives you a barometer for where current satisfaction levels are. Number 3, progress. Have you noticed any positive changes since you started training? Yes, some, not yet, too soon to tell. This one's really important because I think parents in general, this is just kind of reminding them. When my 2 daughters first got into martial arts, I noticed that we always prompted them to order when we go out to restaurants, but after they started martial arts, they did it unprompted and they were looking right in the eye of the server. And it was just this amazing thing that I was like, huh. And that may or may not have had anything to do with them being in martial arts. But had I had this question, I'd be like, yeah, I did notice some things that really feels like this is having a positive effect upon them. And I think parents are always looking for that. So I think this is a good question. All right. And then these last 2 are really interesting. The number 4 here is the one that gives me a little bit of heartburn. And I'll tell you why. It'll be obvious when I read it. It's, if your family decided to pause or stop classes, what would be the main reason? Now, this is really important data for you guys to have because you want to understand why people leave and why people quit or pause. A lot of times people will tell you it's a money thing or something like that. But if you do it preemptively, you might get other information, scheduling conflicts, cost, lost interest and motivation, didn't feel progress or other. So there is kind of an open qualitative piece on this one. But I also don't like putting the idea of pausing or quitting into somebody's mind when they're an existing student. So I think this is an opportunity where this might be great as it is. You might get some really good data back. I just get a little worried about this type of stuff. But you could also have a conversation with ChatGPT. I'm a little worried about putting this in the minds of my students or students' parents. What is a way that I could ask this question, maybe in a couple different questions that gives me the same results? And so this is a cool way where you can just, again, collaborate and work with it to get a different insight. And of course, the best way to understand why somebody left is you ask them after they left, because they can give you the actual reason. But oftentimes when they're already gone, they're not really motivated to give you feedback unless they're really upset about something, which then they would be maybe. But yeah, if there's ways you can get preemptive insight as to why somebody might quit, that's a big deal. And then the last one I think is the most important one. What can we do to make your experience even better or help your child stay motivated long-term? This is an open text field. This is where they have to write. They have to sit down, think about it, write something. This is the true qualitative stuff that you're going to get different from every person oftentimes. And we do this by design. It's the last question. And oftentimes I'll even say one last question because they've done these really simple multiple choice questions up to this point, and they don't want to think, oh no, are the rest of the next 5 questions, I have to write an essay here. So that's why I think this one is really important, but also like let them know either through a progress bar or something else that this is the last question. And it's really important because it captures qualitative feedback for ways that you can actually improve. And the cool thing about AI with this too, let's say, I mean, again, these are going to be easy enough for you guys to read through it. But if you just fed these back into AI, it'll find commonalities. It'll talk with you about some interesting things you could do to improve the programs. And so when you do get these back, feed them back into AI and have it create a report for you. Use ChatGPT 5 because that does the deep research stuff. Or there is actually, you get on the $25 a month program, you get a X amount of deep research credits that you can use. And so you can really get some good feedback and insights. So again, Typeform or SurveyMonkey can do these summaries, but again, we do it still through, and I didn't put it up here for some reason, but Go High Level does have a quiz functionality. Grammarly is, does great for just kind of rewrites and stuff, but ChatGPT does a great job there too. And MailChimp is just a really good low cost email provider. I'm sure you guys already have something there, but you can use AI to personalize the emails. Again, Go High Level is one of my favorites for that too. Key takeaway, retention is the hidden engine of enrollment growth. Again, AI helps you strengthen the relationships at scale. And when a student shows up and it sees a full class of really happy, engaged people, everybody's having a good time, including the teacher. And you get that feeling of like, this is where I belong. This is the place for me. That's all around being able to retain and kind of keep that. That's what I'm looking for. Just kind of like the mission and vision of the school alive through retention. And that's helped. Word of mouth is the strongest growth you can have. Marketing's great. Sales is fine. Word of mouth is everything. And you guys, I'm sure, understand that. I want to talk a little bit about custom GPTs. I think, when I spoke with the Inner Circle group, there's some people that had been playing around a little bit with some custom GPTs. Do you guys know what custom GPTs, or we just call them GPTs, are? Has anybody heard of that? So yeah, so basically with custom GPTs, you're able to create something that you can tap into again and again, and you could share with your team. I created this custom GPT that is based on creating social media posts for people, but we talked a little bit the other day with Inner Circle about create any organization. If you're a one person organization, even, you can start to create what we're starting to call AI employees or team members through creating these GPTs and then using things like agentic tools to tie these together and have them talk to each other and work. I don't want to go way too technical with that, but I think if I have time and if it'll work in here, I'll kind of walk through how to create a custom GPT. It's super easy. There's a version where it walks through it for you. So if you already have a paid version of like the 25 per month version or whatever it is, just create something inside of these custom GPTs. If I gave you any homework at all, it would be to do that. And something that you can use all the time, an email creation tool, a social post creation tool, something like that you can just go and tap into. And again, if we have time and if the internet works in here, I'll see if we can walk through that actually. This is Go High Level. It's great for, again, creating chatbots, creating pages, creating quizzes, all the stuff that we've kind of talked about today. I won't go too deep into that. This one's really interesting. This one is, if we can show it, I will as well. This is called GenSpark. I don't get any money for being like an affiliate of GenSpark, but if you use this QR code here, or if you go to my website, strategicaiconsultants.com agent, you get 1,000 free credits for GenSpark. GenSpark is one of those agents that builds stuff in real time. What we did is we're using it to create like downloadable lead magnets for the internet, just to put on our website or on Facebook ads or something. This one here is the SOP Chaos Reduction Workbook. When I put into ChatGPT, what would be a good GenSpark creator for Taekwondo, lead magnets, it said something like the parent's guide to raising confident and respectful kids or something like that. And so you could put that in for your own school and say, what would be an interesting free download that I could create to get people's names and emails that then we could follow up on the stuff we talked about today. You put that into ChatGPT to give you an outline, and then you put it into GenSpark, and it builds the whole thing out for you. It's gorgeous. If I can, I'll show you what it did. This took me 15 minutes to make for this client. It's a 48-page interactive PDF about how to reduce SOP chaos in your business. I was talking to Tony the other day about this, lovable.dev. This is, again, a little technical. Again, we're just kind of wrapping up here. So I'm getting into a little bit of the technical things, but we used to create those downloadable PDFs to get people to give us an email. Now we're creating things in lovable.dev that we're just giving people free software. And so, and it used to be impossible to create. I mean, it would cost thousands of dollars to create a piece of software. This is actually something I created over the weekend. It's a website that allows people to invest. It's kind of like Kickstarter, but for like independent films. I never thought in a million years I'm not a coder. I'm not a developer. I understand how to build a landing page. This built a full website for me in HTML that I did have to give to a developer to clean up a couple of the things that we wanted, but it was unbelievable. So what simple software could you create? It walks you through setting up the database, everything. And then you can just talk to it. I want you to make these pictures, or I want you to have it do this, or it looks like this isn't working. Can you change that? It's amazing. And so again, in a world of downloadable PDFs versus free software, you could create something where parents could, log into a portal and see their kids' progress and stuff like that. And it's not like a $15,000 thing anymore. It's a $500 thing, if that, or, you might get lucky and be able to put it together yourself like I was here. So lovable.dev or Replit, there's a couple of these out there. You just talk to it and it builds a website. Yeah. So, I mean, again, for the LLMs, I would say ChatGPT and Claude. It's crazy all the value I get out of ChatGPT for $25 or $30 a month, depending on what program you're on. It allows, there's also a Teams version of it that charges you like $25 per team per user. For smaller businesses, that can get really expensive quick. So what I've seen people do is they have like a kind of I would say the leadership version and then the team version, and you just kind of share logins for that. And so you can collaborate on stuff inside of these GPTs that we're talking about, but you don't have to break the bank having everybody have their own version of it. And it also keeps it kind of clean because people aren't using their personal AI for stuff that's business related and so forth. Like I said, the Go High Level is a marketing, and I believe it's just gohighlevel.com. I don't put all these in here. It's a marketing, all-in-one marketing platform. It's kind of like a CRM. It's kind of like a marketing platform. It does a lot of this stuff. You guys probably have stuff that does a lot of what Go High Level does, but their AI plugins are really, really good. And if you could just use one thing for marketing, that would be the one that I would use. And then, man, there's so many. The problem is just it's drinking out of a fire hose of stuff that's out there for you guys. A lot of the stuff that I mentioned in this in ManyChat for chatbots, things like that. I'm trying to think specific for the GenSpark thing that I mentioned here. Like it's a third party agentic. So it's doing the code in real time while I'm talking to it. And all the white stuff here is just what I said. I had gotten this from ChatGPT, table of contents, kind of some general stuff that I wanted to say. And then on the left hand or on the right hand side here, it just built out this, like I said, interactive, really beautiful PDF that hit on everything I wanted it to, plus added even more. And it kind of came out of the box ready to go. I can put this as HTML on a site, or I can have people download it and take their name and email from it. Like I said, I mean, it's again, 47 pages of really well-designed, interactive charts and tables and questionnaires that allow people to get the result that I want them to get. And then at the end, there's a call to action for them to schedule time for a demo or to on a call and that type of thing. So again, I would say this is really interesting. I wanted to show you guys this version of it, but if we just go to GenSpark AI, if you guys go play with it, like again, this is just a kind of one thing. If you go play with this, it has AI slides, AI sheets, AI docs, AI developer, designer, clip guru, AI chat, AI images, AI video, meeting notes. It does things like it creates podcasts for you. I mean, and again, it does it from a bunch of different places, but it basically is reaching out to different places. This super agent is like, I could have it create like a really interesting video about processes of martial arts or something like that in real time. And it's pulling from different places to get the content and also to pull the video and to create the video string the video together, do a narration over it, as well as music in the back, all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's really cool. Sorry, those are kind of just the big ones that come to mind. I think Claude is better for writing and sound like a person. It's a better writer. I think ChatGPT is the best overall well-rounded platform. And so when we build stuff, if it's writing like Facebook ads and stuff, we're using Claude. But again, I don't want to tell you guys to go buy a bunch of different things. I'm trying to keep it really, really kind of concise. But Claude Sonnet 4 is what we use. That's the model. Sonnet 4 is what we use when we build out anything that's writing ads, writing blog posts, things like that. Close second would be ChatGPT. So inside of ChatGPT, this is the one we created. So what you want to do is on the left-hand side here, you can see right here, this area on the left, these are all my chat bots. And you can go to Explore, which is kind of interesting. So step one, I recommend you guys go over, log into your ChatGPT, go over here into Explore, and you'll see basically a marketplace of chat GPTs, custom GPTs that people made. You can make these, you can give them away, you can sell them. There's all kinds of different ones. These are kind of the top ones that people are using. So it's kind of fun just to play around with them. When you use them, you can then save them in your left, it's kind of library over here. But if you go in the very upper right-hand corner, there's my GPTs. These are the ones I've created. Or you can go to create. If you go to create, this is what I was talking to you by, it'll just talk you through what you want to build. So you can just say like, hey, I'm interested in creating something that helps come up with weekly Facebook posts for my school, my Taekwondo school. And, it'll ask you more questions and it just kind of interviews you. Right here, this is configure is where you can just do it. So you would add the name here. You would add a description here. Right here is where you would put the instructions. The instructions would be basically the prompts. So this one here, the instructions were, you are an expert martial arts school social media manager for J.K. Lee Black Belt Academy, one of Wisconsin's most respected Taekwondo schools. Your goal is to write 1 to 2 high quality Facebook posts per week that inspire, educate, connect with local parents while driving engagement and trial signups. Each post should speak directly to the parents of kids age 5 to 12 who want to help their children build confidence, focus, respect, and discipline. Include a story, a lesson, or a mindset tip from a martial arts that applies to life at home or at school. Highlight student success and culture, e.g. family values, teamwork, perseverance. End with a call to action or conversation starter, comment, share, trial offer. Stay under 100 or 150 words to sound natural, warm, authentic, not salesy. Include 2 to 3 relevant emojis in one short headline style. Add 3 to 5 hashtags. And then you can, if we come back into here, when you're building these out, you can do a conversation starter. Mine was like, help me with my social media. But basically it's something when you push, you could have different things, different kind of conversation starters, and those show up right here. Start planning your posts. So, and the really cool, and I highly recommend this, you can upload files. So if you have, again, like a bunch of write-ups or information about your school, you can write that up, you can put it up in here. It'll refer to that as kind of a first part of its research into it. And then it goes out to the broader kind of world of AI beyond that. And so then when I actually go back to mine here, so it's going to actually create it for me, I could give it like some stuff I wanted to do. Focus is a muscle. The more we train, the stronger it gets. In this week's class, our students have been working hard on staying focused, whether it's holding their attention during drills, listening carefully to instructors. One of our tigers, Emma, age 8, said it best. When I focus, I feel powerful. That's what we love to see. Kids learning that focus isn't just the dojo. It helps with homework, chores, and even kindness at home. Parents, how do you help your kids build focus at home? Share your tips below, hashtag JK Lee, so on and so forth. And so you could have this built in. When it's somebody on your team can go in there and talk to it, give it some insight, ask for it to create some for you, and you have some starting points for AI-driven posts that apply to your school and to the insights that you give it. I was, again, just kind of a funny wrapping up here, I was going to show you guys, this is for, I don't know if the audio is going to work. This is for a client who sells leads to financial planners, but they're using VO3 to create this Neanderthal kind of character here. And it works really well because it's funny, because we're not trying to make something that looks real with the AI video. It's obviously AI video. It's ridiculous. What I think for you guys, again, especially if you're your students are mostly kids, you can do some really fun stuff with animation, with kind of fun animal characters or stuff like that. You can build that out. But you can see it's just basically like this Neanderthal character who's kind of talking about all the stuff he does that's wrong. And then it transitions to like, don't listen to the Neanderthals, do it the right way. You can just come up with some really creative ways that you would have needed a studio and actors and things like that to do something like this before, or somebody who's an animation person. But you can just do really fun stuff with. This took them less than a day to work with us to build, and then it transitions to the less cartoonish kind of positive thing. So the first half of the ad is like bad guys, and this half of the ad is we're the good guys. Just something that's really interesting, that the world of video creation has really come a long way with AI. And there's some trial and error with this, but it's kind of fun to play with it. So this is again a Google product called VEO3. With that, any last questions from anybody before I wrap up? All good? Yeah, I mean, again, like, yeah, so how much time does it take? Do I spend like creating things like this? Again, it's almost like my creative time when I would have been like trying to come up with ideas around like my personal business, like how are we going to develop more leads? What am I going to have to build? Can I survey the audience to see what they want? Things like that. Instead of doing that, we're talking to my team about some of the stuff. I'm talking to AI about it. And I mean, I'm a very AI heavy guy. So I mean, I think you could do 30 minutes every morning, get a lot of stuff done. But it's like anything else. It's getting a little bit out of your comfort zone and doing the first thing. And that was what the intention. This was not a really flashy presentation. This was really meant to be like, how do you do the next right thing? How do you take that first step? I gave you some ideas around prompts. They're probably not the prompts you guys would use, but using those prompts point to other prompts that you actually would use. And the idea is just getting it and playing around with it. I think that probably half the people in this room have been using it a lot. The other half want to use it more. It just feels like this big blue ocean of opportunity and possibility. By giving you some of this stuff, I think you guys have like the next thing you can go in there and try. And again, for $25 a month, or if nothing else, you just have your own thoughts. So again, that's what I would say. Thanks again. Really appreciate you guys coming out.
Thank you once again to Mr. Josh Lannon for sharing his expertise on AI marketing and showing us how these powerful tools can be applied directly within the martial arts industry. His insights gave us a clear vision of how school owners and instructors can leverage technology to grow, connect, and serve their communities at a higher level. And here's the exciting part. The seminar talk was just the beginning. Mr. Lannon will be joining us live in an upcoming episode of Black Belt Banter, so keep an eye out for that. You won't want to miss the chance to hear him dive even deeper and answer questions in real time. Until then, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode of Black Belt Banter.